Hey y'all, I'm Blaine Phillips.
And I'm Phillips-LeVan.
We're married, like just a minute ago, but we've been together for 14 years.
We have a teenage daughter.
Which means she's basically an adult, right?
We're also growing a business on the side together.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Through all of that, we've learned how to improve so many aspects of our lives and show up in an amazing way.
So we decided to host a podcast to share our journey with you.
It's called Let's Do Life Together, because that's just what we want to do with you.
So if you could use some tips and tricks on how to make life a little smoother,
then you're in the right place.
come on in and let's do life.
As I look at the title on this episode, I'm sure this is one you picked. Did you slide this one in here? It's very woo-woo, it feels.
We like woo-woo. We haven't done a woo-woo in a while.
You wanted to get your woo-woo on this morning?
Let's get woo-woo.
Oh boy. So we're going woo-woo today. We're going to talk about how to change the energy in your home, your house, your place, your space, whatever you want to call it. We're going to change the energy.
All right. So get your crystals out, get your sage, smudger.
This is not that kind
one?
of episode. No, dial it down like 12 notches.
So
All right.
So less woo-woo.
Less woo-woo.
Okay.
Tiny woo-woo. Baby woo-woo. I don't know what it is. Whatever. We're going to talk about the energy in your space. And it's not all that woo-woo. We're not. I'm not. Jason might be. Well, as you know, we recently moved. We downsized. Did you listen to that episode? We tell you all about why, how, where, when, and what the details were. But we did. We went from a 3-bedroom home to a 2-bedroom apartment. So that meant lots of downsizing and lots of purging. And I got to tell you, that Marie Kondo, she is onto something, because I sparked joy all up over this place while we were moving. It felt really good to get rid of things, and things that we'd held on to for years that, I don't know, in a way can hold you back, it feels like. I don't know. So it was pretty cool. We're here. We're in this new space, and we wanted to make sure that it had a good energy. Like, I'm not going to speak ill of our home before, because it gave us 12 beautiful years, and we created lots of memories there and lots of things that will always be special in our hearts. But it was also time to move on, and we wanted to leave that there, and we wanted to walk into this space in a different season. Well, we are walking into this space in a different season of life, and we wanted the energy in the space to reflect that season. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Some ideas that you can change the energy in your home. Does it need to be changed? What that meant to us, and get a little baby size woo-woo, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think sometimes it's overlooked. So how much time you spend in your home. You know, maybe you work a 9 to 5 and you're really not home that much if you look at, hours on paper, but it's where you start and end your day. So making that space, that, beginning and end space special and sacred and, high vibe kind of energy is important. It's going to set the tone for the rest of your day.
It really does. I mean, my golden hours in the morning are precious to me. Wherever I'm at, they really set the tone for the rest of my day, how I wake up, what the space is like that I wake up in. And I want that to be peaceful and just give me a good solid foundation to go out into the world and chase my dreams and deal with people and sit in traffic and all the things that we have to do in a day. And on the flip side of that, when you come home from chasing the dreams and sitting in the traffic and dealing with grumpy people and sitting in the car dealership for 4 hours to get your state inspection done. Oh, wait, that was me yesterday. That you want to walk into your home and feel relief. Like you can drop your shoulders and you can breathe it in. And if the energy isn't right in your space, you're not always able to do that. That can feel just as stressful, if not more sometimes, than coming home from the day. And that's not good. So let's recognize the sacred space that your home is and make sure that we're giving value to that, I guess. So let's talk a little bit about what our house was like before. These are just things that as I was preparing for this episode, I started to think about. Now, again, remember, I'm not speaking ill, like 12 great years, and I'm thankful. But as I looked around the walls when we were packing up, we had a lot of the same old things hanging up. Like we had this picture that was hanging above our television in our living room. And I'm pretty sure it had hung there for 11 of the 12 years. Same spot, same picture. It's a great picture. I'm not saying it, but it was there. You have a lot of the same old things that are hanging around the wall. Things are positioned. Some people move their furniture around a lot. We didn't do that. We're not people that do that. I don't know that that's my strong suit to know, like I can't really visualize new positioning of furniture. Also, I never felt like we had a lot of options the way our house was laid out, but maybe that just goes back to my inability to visualize the options. But whatever the reasons were, things were sitting in the same place. Like that chair had always been in that spot, and our bed was always against this wall in our bedroom. And it was a lot of just the same old same. And so the same old feelings are what come with the same old same. I mean, how do you
Right.
agree?
Yeah, I mean, and so things were fine. Like the orientation of the chair is fine. Like it's not a problem. But as you start to grow and change internally, you might have that association. So the feelings of being, let's say you feel like you're stuck in life and like where you're at, and you're hopeful to make change. Well, your house is such a impactful space, you start to feel stuck, and that feeling is associated with your things and your rooms, and maybe it's your bedroom, maybe it's just when you walk in and you're just not inspired, I guess. Subconsciously, I guess you connect those things. So if you want to spark change in attitude or change in your feelings about life in general, well, you can physically change the space around you, and that'll have an impact.
Yeah, that's such a great point. I mean, Jason and I were in that season. Where we were just like, we would look at each other sometimes. It started this year really hitting us where we're like, something needs to change. We have these great, big, crazy, hairy, scary goals and dreams and plans for ourselves, but it felt far away, and we were just like, gosh, something needs to change. And yes, we went a little drastic, and we sold the house and we downsized and all the things, and you certainly don't have to do that and go that drastically. So let's go back to that picture for a minute that I talked about. So here we are, we've downsized and we're in the new space, and it's definitely different. It's definitely new. Like no furniture is in the same space because it's new, and we were intentional about trying to do things differently. And some of it you had to. I mean, the kitchen here is smaller than the kitchen there. So the silverware is going in a different place because it has to, and you have to figure that stuff out. But we were pretty intentional with each room about, well, we don't want it to be like it was. We want things to be a little bit different. And so we got set up, we moved things around, here we are, and kind of the last thing, I don't know about you guys, but for us, the last thing was like hanging things on the wall. Like, the first thing is you get your bed set up, and then you get kitchen, and you do the things, and now it's like, okay, it's time to hang the pictures. And I just instinctively had unpacked them and have them laying on the floor, and P.S. I don't do the hanging. That freaks me out. I don't know why. It seems like such a high pressure situation to put a nail in the wall and say it's level, and I don't know. It's really not that big of a deal, I suppose, but I don't do the hanging, and I don't change light bulbs. Although that's a story for a different day, but whatever. I place things where they are to go. So it's my job to look around and prop it against the wall that it's going to go. And Jason comes along behind me, and he does the actual nail on the wall and leveling. And I don't know what he does. Maybe he doesn't even level, and I just like to give him credit for credit's due. Whatevs. And I just instinctively start taking our pictures that we had, same old same, and placing them in the same basic place they were before. Again, it's a new layout, but this was a picture that was in the kitchen, so this picture should go in the kitchen. Here, prop it here. This was a picture. And here we are, back to that picture that hung above our television for 11-ish years. And I look at it, and I kind of stopped in my tracks. I'm like, I don't want to hang this picture up. Like, it didn't give me good energy anymore. Like, I'm not going to go woo woo, but a little bit. Like, I literally said the words to Jason, which is funny because it's not something I generally say. But I was like, I feel like this picture has bad juju, and I don't want that juju in our new space. I'm not hanging this picture up. And it was so like, such a like sword in the stone. That's probably not the right thing. Like, such a like, here I am. I'm making a gesture with my hand going up in the air, like, taking a stance. Is that what
they can't see that, I think.
They can see. Okay. I think they can see. They envision it. Here I am taking a stance. I'm not hanging this picture and you can't make me. Foot going in the ground. And he's like, okay, so we don't hang the picture. And all of a sudden it was like I was freed. Like, wait a second. We don't have to hang any of these things if we don't want to. And we don't have to hang them where they once were if we don't want to. We can change. We can change the energy of the space just like that. Right. And so it began.
Yeah. And, realistically, we couldn't just move with all new things. So we had to bring our things with us. So new space, it's easy, I think, to, have new energy for sure. But, we did make a couple changes. So we wanted a different dining room table just to change it up and just to feel different and for it to, fit more appropriately in the new space. But, we moved the same furniture, it's the same couch, it's the same bed. It's, most of the things are the same. It's just in a new perspective, I guess.
So that's what we would question you today. Does your home, your space, and it doesn't have to be your home. We could be talking about your car. If you spend a lot of time in your car, that's a space. Is it your desk? Is it wherever you are? I mean, we're specifically talking about our home, but if there is a space that you spend a significant amount of time in that is not giving you good energy, it has the reverse effect. You're like, oh, now I'm not talking about like, when you sit at your desk because I don't want to work this job. That's a different episode for a different day. But is your desk cluttered and just your desk itself is like zapping your energy or your home? Then change it up. You can change it up. You do not have to move like we did and do something drastic, but you can change it. You can move things to a different position. Where it once sat, it does not always need to sit. Where that picture once hung, you can change where it goes. Put it in a different room. Don't hang it up. Take it down. Change it up.
And just start with one space at a time. So if you're talking about your house, I would recommend starting with your bedroom. So again, it's even more specific to this is where you start and end your day. So make that one area your sacred space. And maybe maybe you start by, not saying, all right, this is what I want to change or this is what I want to add, but make room for new energy by letting go of some of the old things. So maybe you need to declutter, and you can go back and check the declutter episode, but get rid of things. If they're holding negative energy or negative associations, in your mind, then get rid of it. Purge some things. Paint the walls. There's simple things that don't cost much. You don't have to buy all new furniture. Paint the walls and buy a couple plants, and you're going to have whole new energy in your room.
That's a great point. I mean, we actually did that at the beginning of this year before we moved. I told you, we were already just kind of feeling that need to make some changes and wanting to shake up the energy a bit. And so we started in our bedroom. Started with just purging, like getting rid of some things. You can always declutter. Like, don't kid yourself that you don't have things that you don't need, because we all do. We still do, and we just moved. But go through and get rid of things that you're holding on to that you don't need to. Those clothes that you might need to fit into one day, no, stop doing that. Hold you back in more ways than one. That's a different episode, but get rid of those clothes that aren't serving you. Get rid of those knickknacks that are sitting around just because they always have. Like, whatever it is, we purged some things, and then we cleaned the space. I'm talking like wiped the baseboards, like pulled the furniture away from the wall and vacuumed behind it and just cleaned it, like made it feel fresh. And then you ready? We spent $89 on Amazon and bought a new bed in the bag, comforter, sheets, nothing super crazy, but we changed out the sheets. And then I spent, hold your horses, $10 at Ollie's for some new curtains. And for $100, we had a very different feel. We had gotten rid of things, we cleaned, and then we put a new comforter and some new curtains on the wall, and the energy in our room was changed just like that. So it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. It doesn't have to take a lot of time to really just free you up to feel better in your space.
So we've done that. Again, we moved so that it was, forced to change space to some extent. But, this space definitely feels different. The energy is different. When we walk in, it feels lighter. It doesn't feel like we're stuck where we were. We don't feel burdened by that house and that space.
And you know what hangs above our television right now? Nothing. And maybe nothing ever will. It hasn't fit right now. But that picture, I don't think we got rid of it. I think we just stored it away for now, and maybe we'll get rid of it one day. Told you, we all still have things we can let go of. But it didn't come in here. It didn't bring its juju. I didn't let it. So take a look around. Is there anything in your spaces that need to change? How do you feel when you walk into them? Take it step by step. Do not try to tackle everything. Like Jason said, don't change your whole house. If you're not feeling it, start with one room. Start with your bedroom. And then go to your kitchen. Go to the spaces that you spend the most time in. And what can you do? What simple things? What can a coat of paint? What can a little purge of junk that you're holding onto? What can a little reposition of things? Buy a house plant and bring life and energy and joy into your sacred spaces. You have to protect that, and it's so important. So allow yourself to see how it feels to you, and then make those changes.
Yeah, the little changes will go a long way. So let us know what you're changing up. So maybe send us a before and after picture, or just let us know on the socials what changes you made and how it feels now.
Yep. All right. Until next week, have a great one.